all to the video lecture of Engineering Materials and Joining Processes, Module 4, presented by myself, Ranjit PK, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Global Academy of Technology. In this video lecture, we are going to focus on understanding the various joining processes, that is soldering, brazing and welding, its definitions, classification and its methods, along with a brief description of various types of welding such as arc welding, oxyacetylene welding, TIG and MIG welding. Let's begin. So, the joining process involves joining two or more metal parts, and to do this there are various joining processes available such as welding, soldering, brazing, etc. The joints that are obtained by these processes could be either temporary or permanent. In case of a temporary joint, the connected parts can be separated easily without any damage. For example, in this animation, you see that these two components are connected or joined to each other with the use of a bolt, and it can be disassembled. When the bolt is removed, these parts can be separated. This forms a temporary joint, and when you disassemble this nut or when you remove this nut, there is no damage to the object. Whereas in case of a permanent joint, the parts that are connected cannot be separated easily, and if at all it needs to be separated, it usually involves damaging the parts. For example, this is one part and this is the other part. If you need to separate these, and this is joined at these junctions, and if this needs to be separated, it almost needs to be damaged. Without damaging the part, we cannot separate it, and hence this forms a permanent joint. There are various types of processes available for this. The syllabus lists soldering, brazing and welding, so let us look at these. Soldering is a joining process used for joining either similar or dissimilar metals by use of a filler metal, and the melting temperature is below 450 degrees Celsius. The filler metal used in soldering is called a solder, where the solder is an alloy of tin and lead in various proportions. You might have seen these in places where the electronic equipments are repaired. This is where the soldering is applied. There are various types of solders that are used. In case of a soft solder, it is an alloy of lead and tin with lead in 37% and tin in 63%. The melting temperature ranges from 150 degrees Celsius to 190 degrees Celsius, and soft solder is used where the joints is not subjected to heavy loads and higher temperature. In case of a hard solder, it is a combination of either lead and silver in 97% and 2.5% respectively, or a combination of lead, copper and zinc in 50, 34 and 16% respectively. In a hard solder, the temperature is higher when compared to soft solder, usually 300 to 450 degrees Celsius, and it is used to make joints that can resist higher temperatures. In a physical appearance, the soft solder is in the form of rolls, and in case of a hard solder, it is usually in terms of bars or straight tubes. Before we do this process of soldering, we need to prepare the surface. This surface preparation involves cleaning of the workpiece to remove any contaminants, that is oil, rust, etc. And the next step is to apply the flux to prevent oxidation. You can see the objects. This is before surface preparation and this is after surface preparation. Then, how to solder? In case of this soldering process, what is done is there is a soldering iron which is heated and is then brought closer to the workpiece or the printed circuit board. Then the solder is introduced. Due to the heat in the soldering iron, the solder melts and the joint is made. You can see in this animation. So it is first cleaned, surface preparation, then in a fraction of second you see that the solder is melted and is applied throughout this PCB. There are various types of soldering: soldering iron, torch soldering and wave soldering. Soldering iron is the most common and widely used method. The tool used here is a soldering iron with copper coated tip. The tip of this iron stores and conducts the heat from the heat source, the heat source being usually an electrical power supply. So once the power is supplied to the soldering iron, the tip gets heated and thus melts the solder. This molten solder is allowed to flow through the gap between the workpieces, and when it is allowed to cool, the joint is formed. You can see the physical representation. This is the soldering iron, then the copper bit at the end, which is, or the copper tip at the end, which is heated, solder then inserted, melted and applied on the workpiece. In the torch soldering method, the heat of the flame is used and the flame is usually oxy-fuel gas torch. You can see here, this is a cylinder containing the oxygen and the fuel, that is the acetylene. Usually acetylene is used, and this acetylene is mixed with oxygen, the oxygen being available in air in suitable proportion, and is burnt, which produces the flame at the torch tip. You can see the flame being generated here, and the solder here, which is shown, is fed into the joint region to melt and flows into the gap, and thus the joint is formed. The method of wave soldering involves using the solder to solder through hole components, that is a complete hole on a PCBs. It involves usually using a tank filled with a molten solder. You can see here, this is a molten solder and this is a PCB that is coming out. Then the solder is pumped to the workpiece spots or dipped, where it forms a wave pattern to a predetermined height, and then the soldering or the joint is then allowed to cool and the solder is performed. The predominant applications of soldering include using in printed circuit boards, that is in almost all of the electronic components, then in sheet metal joints, which are used in food cans, tins, etc. The next method of joining is brazing. It is a method of joining similar or dissimilar metals by use of a filler material. Whereas in case of a soldering, we use the solder. Here it is a spelter which is used as a filler material. The temperature here is usually above 450 degrees but below the melting point of the workpiece. Whereas in case of a soldering, the temperature is below 450 degrees Celsius. Filler material, the spelter, is usually a non-ferrous metal or an alloy. If it is an alloy, it could be a copper, silver or an aluminium alloy. The flow of the filler material in the gap is driven basically by the capillary force, that is the capillary action. The filler material, once is cooled down and solidified, forms a strong metallurgical joint. And just like soldering, we need to prepare the surface. If you assume the hand as the workpiece, wire brushing is usually adopted, where the force of the wire brush takes off all the dust and dirt, or there could be a chemical means, that is acid etching. An analogy is shown here, the French fries being dipped in a sauce, the sauce representing the chemical and the French fry representing the workpiece. When this is dipped, all the acid removes the dust and the dirt. Once this surface is clean, the flux is applied in the form of a powder or a paste. You can see a flux being applied here. The blue color or the greenish blue color shows the flux. And the most common type of flux used is borax or mixture of borax with few other constituents. Predominant applications of joint: brazing, automotive, aerospace and tool industries, and joining pipe fittings and tanks, carbide tips, tools, heat exchangers, etc. predominantly used in copper-based materials. And it is also used where there is high demand for strength and corrosion, and oxidation resistance. The various types of brazing is shown here: torch brazing, furnace brazing, dip brazing, resistance brazing, induction brazing. The torch brazing is the most common type of brazing. The metal is joined by the heat obtained from a gas flame and by using a filler material. As I said previously, the melting temperature is above 450 degrees but below that of the base material. The blowtorch blows the flame here, and as the filler material is applied, the gap is filled and joint is formed. In case of a furnace brazing, it is used in fabricating complete brazements, that is, the complete part as shown here is need to be brazed, and it does not require any highly skilled operator unlike the other brazing methods. Here what is done is the whole brazement or the material which needs to be brazed is kept inside a furnace and is then brazed inside the furnace. In a dip brazing, the joint is obtained by dipping the metal parts that is required to be joined in a molten bath. There is a flux which is in its molten state. The material which is to be brazed is dipped inside this. Before the parts are dipped, they are preheated and residues are removed in order to prevent corrosion being formed on the brazed material. It is suitable for aluminium components. The resistance and induction brazing, the difference being in a resistance brazing, the heat required for brazing is produced due to electrical resistance in resistance brazing, whereas it is due to application of an electromagnetic field in case of an induction brazing. The next joining process, the most widely used, welding. It is a metallurgical joining of two or more metal pieces used to produce a single piece of metal. The basic working principle is the junction of the workpieces required are heated and then fused together with or without application of pressure to produce a single homogeneous joint. The classification is basically done based on either plastic state or fusing state. In a plastic state, the metal parts are heated to the plastic state and are fused by applying the external pressure, and usually there is no filler material required in this plastic welding. Examples of plastic welding include forge welding, friction welding, and resistance welding. In case of a fusion welding, the parts that are to be joined are heated above their melting temperature and then allowed to solidify. Here, filler material may or may not be used, but however, usually the filler material is predominantly used. Examples of fusion welding include arc welding, gas welding, laser welding, etc. Again, preparation before the job is done, before the joining is done. It is done in two sets of process. First is joint preparation, that is either cutting or chopping off the edges of the workpiece to the suitable shapes so that the heat can penetrate to the material, and then cleaning to remove the dust, dirt and any oxides that are formed before the joint is made is cleaned off. The first method is a arc welding. It is a type of fusion method. Uses high intensity electric arc to heat the workpiece and the electrode rod. The electrode rod is connected to one pole and the workpiece forms the other pole of the circuit, and then an electric arc is struck by touching the tip of the electrode rod to the workpiece. So the electrode rod which is one part of the circuit is made to touch the workpiece, and then the electric arc is struck so that an electric arc is struck due to the completion of the circuit, and instantaneously the arc is separated by taking off the electrode and maintaining a small distance, usually 2 to 4 mm. This gap is maintained to sustain the electric arc. The temperature ranges from 5000 to 6000 degrees Celsius. The slag formed is later removed. Slag is nothing but the unwanted material. You can show in these animations the method of arc welding being done, and this is an animation of how the molten material is represented. We'll understand the arc welding through the help of this video. So the joint that is formed that is what I was pointing it out while the video was playing. So this is the final joint that is formed. You can use this sketch for the explanation in the examination. The next method is the oxyacetylene welding. Here the heat source is the flame that is generated by the combustion of fuel source and oxygen, and the fuel source is usually acetylene, and this is mixed in suitable proportion in the welding torch and is burnt to form the oxyacetylene flame. The temperature developed in oxyacetylene welding is in the order of 3500 degrees Celsius. So the molten pool of the metal and the filler material fuse together, forming a homogeneous joint. You can see the physical 3D representation here. Oxygen cylinder separate, acetylene cylinder separate. The flow is regulated here and then is combined in the torch, and the torch also carries the control valve to regulate the flow of the oxygen and the acetylene. The sold filler is shown here. Usually the filler in oxyacetylene welding is same as that of the metal that is to be welded. So once the flame is brought in contact with the filler material, the torch, the oxyacetylene gas torch, melts this filler material, and thus a welded pool of molten plate is formed, and then the cross section which is shown here, that is this part, the joint part. There are various types of flames that are formed during this oxyacetylene welding. It is categorized into carburizing, neutral and oxidizing flame. In carburizing flame, the excess acetylene is there. In neutral flame, equal proportions of acetylene and oxygen is used. And in oxidizing flame, the oxygen is found to be excess. Application of carburizing flame is used in welding alloy steels and aluminum alloys. In the neutral flame, low carbon steel and mild steel is welded. Whereas in an oxidizing flame, brasses, bronzes and copper is welded. You can see the differentiation in the flame of all these carburizing, neutral and oxidizing flame. The next type of welding is tungsten inert gas welding, in short TIG. It is also called as tungsten arc welding. There a non-consumable tungsten electrode is used, and also an inert gas, usually argon or helium, is used as a shielding gas around the weld pool. This gas is used to protect the welding area from the atmospheric gases. Otherwise, when this fusion happens, there could be porosity and other defects in the weld metal. The electric arc is struck using a non-consumable electrode, and the workpiece is along with the workpiece in the presence of an inert gas. In case of arc welding, the electrode is consumed, meaning the electrode finishes off after the welding is complete, whereas in case of a TIG welding, it is a non-consumable electrode. So you can repeat the same electrode, or you can reuse the same electrode again and again for welding purpose. The arc gap here is usually 1.5 to 3 mm. The high intensity of the arc melts the workpiece, forming a small molten pool. The filler metal in the form of rod and bonds join the metal to form a single piece. Arc is then extinguished by widening the gap between the electrode and the workpiece. Once the gap between the electrode and the workpiece is more, the arc is said to be as extinguished. You can see the process of TIG welding in this animation. Use this sketch for the purpose of examination. The next process of welding is metal inert gas welding, or MIG. It is also called as gas metal arc welding, where an uncoated consumable electrode, again here in MIG welding, the electrode is consumed and it acts as a filler material. So just like the TIG welding, the inert gas in combination with CO2 is used as a shielding agent to protect the material from the atmospheric gases during the process of welding. Usually the MIG welding uses DC power supply. The workpiece when cleaned, then an arc is struck between the electrode and the metal pieces, which will melt the workpiece and the electrode. The molten metal of the workpiece and electrode fuse together to form a strong joint. You can use this sketch for the examination. Now, if you look at differentiating all these joining processes, that is welding, soldering and brazing. In welding, it is usually high temperature, soldering, low temperature, brazing, it is broadly heated to a suitable temperature range. In this case, in the case of temperature, soldering is said to be having a lowest temperature. The filler material is same as the material that is to be welded in case of welding. Here it is not true. Here again it is not the same case. The joint is formed by basically solidification in case of welding. Here in case it is formed by diffusion in case of soldering. In case of brazing, it is only surface aligned, that is the surface is combined. The strength, the welding gives the maximum strength, soldering is comparatively low and brazing in between that of welding and soldering. In welding, there is a formation of heat affected zone and this is large. There is no heat affected zone in case of soldering, and in brazing, although there is heat affected zone generated, it is not too much when compared to that of welding. Then, as I said, welding produces the strongest joints, soldering is relatively weak, and brazing intermediate is used usually in arts, jewelry works, etc. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, it's time to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get the all notifications as and when the videos are